Okie dokie. So, this afternoon here in Raleigh, North Carolina, it is the 25th of April. So, I had actually, I finished listening to the final Tennis album. Face Down in the Garden, I believe is what it's called. So, I'm not sure why on earth I struggled with that, but anyway, Face Down in the Garden, and that's pretty good. I don't really measure things as good as bad. I mean, I would imagine I wouldn't be surprised if it's quite a few people it might not be their favorite because that tends to be how things go, right? You get to your last album. I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty beautiful. Very much dream popish, but I like dream pop, so that's an awesome thing. So I was very fortunate to be able to listen to it. It broke my heart. I'm just going to tell you where I listened to it through Spotify. I didn't even know um, that the band was, that they were breaking up. Calling a band, obviously, if you know anything about tennis, you probably know it's actually two people, right? Husband and wife duo. Correct me if I'm not up to date on that, but as far as I know, they're still married. Alaina Moore and Patrick Riley, not to be confused with Pat Riley, but Patrick Riley. So I think they're millennials, right? I think one of them's going to be maybe 40 next year. And I think the other one will be 38 next year. So I always thought they were a good-looking couple there. The guy cut his hair, but anyway. And it's interesting because when I found out about this, and I'm not sure how much you know about me. Maybe not much because, well, there's really not much to know about me. I'm not all that, if you will. but I do make videos. I tend to talk on the videos. I'll make a picture, generally it can come out looking like a visual. So I tend to make what it's basically visuals with, oftentimes I will make patterns, I will mix things together. I guess it's my contribution to the art world, whatever you want to make out of it. And the first time I ever made tennis balls on there, I made in commemoration of tennis, which was, I don't know, a couple weeks ago or so. So and I thought they came out pretty well. And I think I did justice to Patrick Riley. I think I also did justice to tennis balls. So we'll have to see about Alaina Moore. But at any rate, so but it broke my heart. I actually discovered them on Spotify. I think the first song I ever heard from tennis was my better self. And I thought it was folks almost said my better help, but my better self. And I thought it was a beautiful song, especially as they kept going up and, I thought the album was a pretty good album. I thought the one before that, Pollen, was pretty good. I will say, and you don't have too many Keiko logo phobes around, but I am one of them. I do get a little nervous with cussing. You're not going to hear me cuss very often. Matter of fact, I don't think you're going to ever hear me curse again. But but with that being said, couldn't figure out why the title song needed to have the cursing on it, but I thought it was beautiful. And once again, it did have a bit of dream pop and obviously the romantic bend that they had from it. I thought it was, and I was going to make a recording about it. Then it's a little loud here in the Sertoma Art Center parking lot. I'm actually right by the lake, Shelley Lake here, so just to let you know. Um, but I love the album. Um, now I will tell you, and I have a feeling it's going to be the same um, with Face Down in the Garden. I also love those little introductions. Those things were cute. Did you see where Alaina's like reading a book? She's on a boat and she's doing whatever. I guess there's um, there's a barge that's coming in, and she's skateboarding. I thought that was adorable. But I have a feeling, and I mean, I liked it, but I bet you that what's probably going to happen is it's going to grow on me. And I would say that's what happened um, with Pollen. Pollen basically, it grew on me. And I'm still not that big on the Pollen song. I mean, it's cool, but it just seemed to me to be unnecessary that you drop the F-bomb in it. I didn't see it really a place for it, but um, Gibraltar I loved. The first song I loved. I will tell you, let me see here, when I think of my favorite albums from tennis, I think Cape Dory is getting up there for me. My favorite song on Cape Dory, and this is, of course, I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with tennis, because tennis started out as a surf pop band, and yes, that might sound strange because they're from Denver, right? They met at UCD. They met at the University of Colorado at Denver, which is probably about 20 miles from the University of Colorado Boulder, the major campus, main campus. But if you know anything about Denver and Colorado, it's a long way from the beach. Right? It's a long way away from the beach. I guess you could say they're double landlocked, whether you want to say New Mexico, Colorado, or no, excuse me, New Mexico, Texas, or whether you want to say Oklahoma, Texas. But anyway, they're pretty much hemmed in. But my favorite song on there is Marathon. And it's very much, once again, a surf pop one. It's Coconut Grove is a very small cove separated from the sea. A small, small cove. That type of thing. Love it. Absolutely love it. Probably what is possibly my favorite one is Young and Old. And Young and Old would include My Better Self. It all stays the same. All remains the same. And forgive me if I'm getting some of these wrong, because I could just be nervous. You people are important to me. Origins. Origins is a beautiful song. And Origins, to tell you the truth, the first song, I'll say the same, remains the same. That one isn't really that much of a surf pop song either, but Origins definitely isn't. But My Better Self I love, and probably one I've been listening to lately. I guess every time I miss, because like they're going away, and it just hurts me deep inside. For some reason I'm sticking to Traveling. Your hand in mine, seated here at my side. It's a very much a surf, if you will, pop song. Very much so. Dreaming. What is the song that comes after? Petition. Petitia's not a surf pop song, but I love that one too. I love a lot of songs on if you will, young and old. Never to Part, very much if you will a surf pop or almost like kind of like a doo-wop type song. And that one I love. Um, Ritual we repeat. I love. Um, Probably my favorite song on there starts out like a surf pop song, and then something goes just absolutely nuts, and becomes more along the lines of, I don't know if you want to say indie pop or dream pop, but it changes. Beautiful, beautiful song. Um, and then you have one that I guess you can see on a couple things. One of them, like if you have Ritual Repeat, and you have Deluxe, they have some extra songs on it. Probably my favorite song off of that is Mean Streets. And it's talking about this nostalgic local figure who was a very talented songstress, very talented singer in the Catskills of New York. Likely a fictional character. And it's just one of the most beautiful things. And I don't want to sing for you because, well, I can't do any of this stuff justice. But I will tell you, if you're familiar with that song, I don't know why this is, because I can guarantee you that they did not come up with this person in mind. But for some reason or another, when they started talking about Laura, and I guess what I was thinking was because somebody, when I hear, if you will, Mean Streets, I think it's somebody who's either stopped what they're doing, maybe even burned out, or someone who has gone too soon. And when I think of somebody whose name, when I think of somebody who's gone too soon, named Laura, when I think of somebody who's from New York, although not from the Catskills, I think of Laura Branigan, right? What is it? Gloria, Self-Control, and some other songs. I think of that lady. That song always does it for me. It's just one of the most beautiful things. Very nostalgic. Let's see here. Also, hope I'm not going across some other beautiful ones. Gosh. Conditionally Yours. Conditionally Yours is pretty good. I'll tell you my favorite song on that one, and it might be in my top 5. Sometimes it kind of goes up to number 1 every now and then. But Ladies Don't Play Guitar. It's talking about ladies don't play guitar, but it's also talking about, about being a fit, if you will, for the man she loves. And oh my goodness, it's beautiful, and it's got one of just a pop in its bass lines. Absolutely beautiful song. The two the two EPs are pretty good. Very good, I think. Swimmer. Swimmer is the one I'm thinking of. Um, and, you know, by the time you get to stuff like Swimmer and Conditionally Yours, you know, they're not even really nodding to surf pop anymore. You know, they're pretty much on the indie pop, um, you know, romantic tip, dream pop type thing. That's where they are. But Swimmer, I love Swimmer. The song Swimmer is cool. But I'd say the first four songs on Runner, or Swimmer, excuse me, which including Runner, I would say I love. I mean, I love them all, but if you're talking about ones that I love the most, it's going to be those first four songs that I just absolutely am in love with. So, anyway, I've been talking on this thing too long. I'm going to miss them. I know here in Raleigh, tennis will be here June 5th. It doesn't look like I'm going to be able to make it for several reasons. One, because of the responsibilities that I have. And two, I just don't have the money. I don't know. It's that kind of, it's been a rough set of years. But I hope I can, but I wouldn't be surprised if I can't make it. I love those guys, and it just breaks my heart, if you will, that I'm not going to be able to, you know. I mean, with that being said, I'll also say that, you know what? They're going to leave us with, if I'm not mistaken, 7 albums. I mean, so they're going to leave us with 7 albums. Is that right? 7 albums and 2 EPs, if I'm not wrong. And I think that's, you know, that's quite a bit. And on top of that, you could imagine that these folks could probably be burned out, right? They started in 2010. Think of how many wonderful projects that you've heard of that couldn't last that long. I think I've talked about Call and Response, you know, and I was lucky to get from Call and Response 2 albums and an EP. You know, you have Deerhoof and, if you will, Stereo Lab that's about to drop an album. They've been around for practically ever. I wouldn't be surprised, maybe 30 years, but that's not, that's a long time. And you could imagine, 10 years being a long time. And think of creative differences, getting ready for tours, being in the studio, perhaps they don't want to be, nailed to tennis, that long, and so I guess I can understand. It kind of breaks my heart though. Anyway, folks, that's all I have, and who knows how much of this you're going to listen to, but I appreciate whatever you listen to. All right, I'm out.